Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we are doing a baby number 2 pregnancy update. Long overdue. Literally, I could have this baby very soon. I figured it's about time to finally do an update. I was so much better about updating with my last pregnancy, just for the simple fact that I had more time. I wasn't a mom yet. I didn't have a toddler to take care of. This time around, there's a lot more on my plate, and it's just been kind of been lower on the priority list. But I did ask questions, so I have questions to answer, but I also just have some things to say. So this is baby number 2 for me. I am in my 3rd trimester towards the end. That's kind of all I feel comfortable sharing, just because last time I shared my exact due date. I shared exactly how many weeks and how many days along I was, and I feel like it put a lot of unnecessary pressure on me in those last few weeks. Anytime that I wasn't posting, people thought that I had the baby, and so I just want to be able to fully focus and zen out those last few weeks and really just be me and focus on, when this baby wants to come will be this baby's timing, not anybody else's. So I've been very hesitant to share my due date this time around. I have not shared it. I've shared roughly when I am due, but I'm not having a baby next week or anything, but I'm just, let's just say we're getting really close. So that's one thing a lot of people wanted to know was my due date, and that's kind of why I'm not sharing. It's not supposed to be secretive. I will share when the baby's here. It's just for my own mental peace, because I learned from last time. And then same thing with baby's name and gender, not sharing that yet. Name, I didn't share the name last time before birth, and this time everyone is so shocked I have not shared the name. And I'm I didn't share last time. I gave you guys his first initial just because I wanted something to call the baby while I was pregnant. So we called him Baby B the first time around because his name started with a B. And we named him Bellamy. And then this time I just haven't felt inclined to share even anything, just because yes, we have a name picked out, but I could have this baby, meet them, and totally change my mind. So I'm I'll just keep it to myself. And I did that last time. So those were the top 2 questions: gender, name, due date. Top 3 questions, I guess. And then gender, we weren't going to find out. I wanted to wait until birth, but then I had something happen at 16 weeks where they couldn't find the heartbeat, and so they wanted to do an ultrasound because they can sometimes find it easier on there, / just wanted to check on the baby, and they accidentally were hey, there you are. So totally fine. I'm not upset about it or anything. We do know, so you guys just don't know. Let's talk other things. My second, since I didn't do any updates in my 2nd trimester, I'll try to recap that really quick. 2nd trimester was good. Usually that's the one that everyone loves and is obsessed with, but for me, I think we just had so much going on that it wasn't that for me, and I also got sick a ton. That is one thing with this pregnancy I have learned. So between being pregnant with Belle, then breastfeeding him, I'm still sometimes nursing him, and then getting pregnant again, my vitamins and just my body's immune system, I think, is just so down from giving to making babies. I have picked up every single bug that has gone around, and that just is not my life. I don't usually get sick, but this pregnancy I have been wiped dead with sicknesses, and so a lot of them I had primarily in my 2nd trimester. Got 2-3 stomach bugs, I think, that were extreme, and a few head colds and just everything. So 2nd trimester was not glamorous for me. I really struggled with energy. I struggled mentally, and just in general, I just struggled. Now that I'm in my 3rd trimester, I feel I'm in my groove. I got some blood work done and figured out what I wanted to change and what I wanted to improve on so that I would feel better and my immune system would be better. Although I am still congested, I just feel that is a 3rd trimester thing for me, because I remember being congested my entire 3rd trimester with Bellamy. But yeah, I'm just starting to get energy back. I'm so nesty. I just want to nest all the time. I want to get rid of everything I own. I want to clean my house, but I don't really necessarily have the energy for it, / my body wants me to rest. So that part is definitely hard. Like my body is aching more, but my brain wants to go, go, go. That's what the third trimester is like for me. And I get like really sentimental and just like this need to be home with my family. I remember it in my first pregnancy too. You get this like maternal instinct. It's like, it's just by nature where you want to be home, you want to make your home cozy, you want to make your home safe, you want to be resting and just like doing all the cozy things and just slow. And I fully love that. But I will say it is way harder to just fully do that when you have a crazy 2-year-old. So taking it slow, but also still having to chase my toddler around and do things with him on a daily basis, just like I would as any other day. That's my update. So let's get into some questions. Are the emotions high thinking about Belle not getting all of your attention, and how do you think that he will adjust? So I haven't gotten too emotional about it yet. I feel like that all happened in my first trimester when I was like super hormonal and just like sad and I don't know, like grieving him not being my only child. I know that as it gets closer, or even when it's like, okay, let's go have this baby, I'm gonna be so emotional. And I'm fully expecting the first like month to 2 months to be like that. I know I'm gonna grieve because he is my boy. We do everything together. I'm home with him all the time. He's very close to me. I'm very close to him. But I also just don't have it in my head that he's losing anything by getting a sibling. I don't think that that's true. And I actually really feel good about, like, it's definitely a God thing. I feel good about his independence and where he's at, and that he slowly has detached, not detached from me, but he has slowly increased his connection to Austin. And it's been so cool to watch because from, like, he's always loved Dada, you know, like all kids love their Dada. But now he like loves Dada. Like he waits for him to get home from work and he wants to do everything with him. I just think that that happened really naturally, like in this timing, because I'm going to be so immersed in fresh newborn days where a lot of my immediate attention is going to go to the baby, and he's going to want to do more fun things with Dada, which is totally awesome. And so I mainly just feel excited to see him with another baby and like how he interacts and how he adjusts. But I will say, like, I don't need anybody to warn me because truly I have my expectations on the floor. I'm not expecting it to go well. I'm not expecting me to handle it well. I'm expecting full-blown chaos for at least, like, bare minimum the first month. And that's just because I know if I expect anything more, I could set myself up for some disappointment, and I just don't want to do that. And I know that we can't predict anything. So that's kind of how I'm feeling. I feel like I got all my emotions out about that in the first trimester. How do you feel about giving birth the second time around? I'm due in June with my second, and I'm kind of nervous. Most of the time I feel excited. Like, truly, I had a very positive, very excruciating and very hard, but very positive birthing experience. So I did a unmedicated water birth at a birth center my first time around, but the hard part was that my labor was like 18 hours of intense back labor. I think I had 2 contractions total that were actually in my stomach. The rest of them were fully, I mean, obviously they were in my stomach, but I felt them fully in my back. And if you don't know anything about back labor, didn't experience it, just be thankful. I'm not saying that it's harder than normal labor, but it's a different sensation and you don't get any relief in between contractions. And it just felt like my spine was literally like doing this. And that's just like, I think primarily due to his position. But they have warned me that certain pelvis shapes are more prone to back labor. So I'm kind of expecting, I feel like there is a hair on my eye. I'm kind of expecting that I'm going to have it again, but praying against it hardcore. But like when I think about giving birth, my brain does not go to like the cons, like how hard it is and stuff. I like love birth. I'm so passionate about it. I feel like getting pregnant and giving birth once opened me up to like this newfound passion, like literally a potential life calling, where like when my kids are born and raised, I would love to be a doula or like do something with labor and delivery if possible, or postpartum, because I love it that much. And I'm excited to experience it again. Of course, I get like the normal nerves that like something may go wrong and I may end up, you know, like in a hospital birth or like a totally opposite birth than what I want. But I also know that like if that happens, it was meant to happen, and that is just how life is. And yeah, but for the most part, I'm just like really excited to experience it again. I feel like it brought me so much closer to the Lord and to my husband, and I'm just really excited. And I plan, because I saw another question in here that was like, what's the plan for Bellamy when you give birth? My plan right now, in a perfect world, is that he would be awake and, you know, around when I'm laboring, as long as I'm handling labor well and he is not like startled or freaked out, then he'll be around for the birth, and I will have my mom and my sister there for him. But if he gets freaked out in the slightest, I just want him to be brought home and he'll just continue his normal routine until we come home. But I just want him to be comfortable. I think that he might like it, but I also think that if I'm in like a ton of pain, it might just really freak him out. So I'm just gonna like have them kind of monitor that and decide that for me. But I really want him there. I think it would be so awesome. I love family-centered births. It's just he's kind of on the brink of like a little too young, in my opinion. Like old enough to know that there is something going on with mom, but not old enough to fully get an understanding like, oh, she's in pain, but it's not bad. You know what I mean? And I just don't want him to be afraid. And I don't want him to like, if I'm not handling labor well, I don't want him to associate that with the baby. So that's just kind of going to be something we tackle as it comes. Differences in this pregnancy, has it been better or worse? It's been, I wouldn't say that I would say either pregnancy was like better or worse. I would say I handled pregnancy physically better the first time around. I was able to stay more active, like do my workouts all the way from start to finish, like literally up to the point of giving birth. I did a lot more labor prep. I did a lot more body prep, like chiropractic adjustments, and just had more time, and I ate better and I treated myself better physically. This time around it's like I'm eating leftovers from my toddler's lunch and like not sleeping as much, but I nap every day. Like it's like back and forth, because this time around I understand the importance of resting and like let myself fully rest when I need to. First time around I like forced myself to do stuff that it was so unnecessary. And I feel like I'm more zen this time than I was the first time. I know what to expect going into birth and like with my body changing with pregnancy and stuff. So, and I'm not as stressed. I'm not letting people's comments get to me and stuff. So like I've handled certain parts better and certain parts worse with both pregnancies, but I wouldn't say one pregnancy was better than the other. Differences for sure, because this pregnancy has been harder. I've been sicker. It was way harder on my body. It's been way harder on my pelvis and my back way earlier on. Like I'm already experiencing some pretty like extreme discomfort towards the end of the day, despite what I do and how I try to like help my body. Heartburn, got it again. I had the worst heartburn with my son, the worst heartburn, and he just had like no hair basically. And this time around I have had incredibly bad heartburn from early on, and I'm sure this baby won't have any hair. But I will say I am sleeping better at night, even though I'm sleeping less. Like I'm probably getting less hours of sleep because I still have a toddler. He still wakes up at night. I'm sleeping harder and I'm sleeping better. I don't have as much like aches and pains in my sleep as I did with my first pregnancy. So there's some differences for sure. I've definitely craved more sugar this time around, like way more sugar. Way more. I've eaten so much more unhealthy this time around. And I've probably gained more weight, but I honestly have not paid any attention to it. So it is what it is. Things that you loved using with Bellamy that you will use again, and things that you thought were unnecessary. I actually like this question a lot because I feel like I have a pretty good answer. So I will say a lot of the stuff that I really loved for Bellamy, a lot of my friends tried for their kids and didn't feel the same. But I loved our Snuggle Me lounge pillow. Not like, we didn't use it a ton as a newborn, but like enough for me to really benefit from purchasing it. But then we used it a lot, like once he was 3-4 months old and stuff like that, and just like tons down the road. So my Snuggle Me was a 100% yes. Same baby monitor. I use the Infant Optics. Love it. I have this like Graco swing that also doubles as a bouncer. Like you can take the seat off and just like move it from room to room. I've never like even seen anybody post about it. It was a random gift that someone got me, and Bellamy loved it. I gave it to my friend for the last year for her baby that she nannies. He loved it, and I'm hoping that the next baby loves it just as much, because it just helped free up my hands a little bit, helped me take showers and just like get a good nap in for the baby when possible. So I plan on using that again. Wraps and carriers, I'm fully planning on using my Lalaboo shirt. It's like a tank top that has a baby pouch, like pocket in it. It's really only usable, like in my opinion, the newborn stage, because they kind of get too big after a certain point. But it is so nice, and the tank top itself is very compressive, so it's like super comfy those first days postpartum. But I got myself a backup shirt of that and an extra baby wrap, because I did tons of baby wearing with Bellamy, and like same pump as last time. I used the Spectra, loved it. I am switching from the Haka to the LV Curve, I think is what it's called, and that's just simply because the Haka is like this huge thing that like sticks out off of you. And I personally, like, yes, it was good at getting milk out, but I spilled all of the milk that it got out, because he would either kick it while nursing, it would fall off, it would randomly lose suction, it would get knocked over, and just like, it was such a pain in the butt. And you cannot wear the Haka and feed your baby in public, because it is sticking this far off that like, there's just no way to do it discreetly. So I found like the breast shell collectors were way better. They don't have suction, but that would just collect letdown. But the LV Curve is shaped like that and has suction. So I'm planning to use that instead of the Haka this time around. And yeah, will you do anything differently this time around regarding childbirth? So I can't say for sure, because like labor really is one of those things where you don't know what you're gonna do till you are in it. And I was very, very educated before giving birth the first time. We took a lot of childbirth classes. We had to in order to deliver at the birth center. But also I just like really did my own research and wanted to know what was going on. I didn't want to go into it blind. I thought I would want to, but I didn't want to towards the end. I was like, you know what? I want to know the science behind all of this. So I still feel just as educated, but this time around I want to really focus on my mental, because I thought I was going to be so in the zone last time when I gave birth, but because I had prodromal labor for 3 nights before I went into labor, I hadn't slept, and I like didn't eat in early labor, didn't drink. I was just too focused on my contractions and figuring out, am I in labor, am I not in labor? So I had no energy going into my labor with Bellamy, and it was long and it was so agonizing. And I think I just got to a certain point where mentally I forgot that I could be in control, and I just like totally, everything went out the window, and I was just like rolling with pain instead of just truly remembering. Like this time I told Austin, I want everyone to remind me, I am not just in pain, I am having a baby, and the baby is working with me, because I just like completely forgot about that. You're like in such an intense moment that you forget what you're even doing. And I want to eat. As soon as I think I might be in labor, I'm going to go down, I'm going to eat a meal or drink a protein shake and hydrate, and I'm going to rest for as long as possible in early labor. But for the most part, I want to labor longer at home, I think, as long as it's safe. And then, yeah, just like really mentally stay in the zone. I want to bring headphones this time and possibly listen to either worship music or like birthing podcast, birthing like sounds or thing. I don't know what they would be called. Like meditative exercises, basically someone like giving me affirmations constantly. That way Austin like doesn't feel so much pressure to say all of that stuff, because he's gonna be my support person obviously, but like that doesn't come naturally to him. And we'll probably have worship music playing over the speaker, but I want to have it in my ear. And I'll probably actually try to bring like birth affirmation cards with me this time, because I think I would remember to maybe use them. I just want to, as much as I can in this situation, try to remind myself like this is for a reason, you know, because I just kind of forgot that last time. I just like was rolling with it, and as that's not necessarily a bad thing, but for me it caused the pain to get so much more intense and me to lose focus. And this time I just want to remember, like, as much as I can relax and stay in myself and partner like with the Lord and remember that there is a baby that is also working so hard to come out, then it will be so much more enjoyable. Any thoughts on how you will handle nights with 2 little ones? I don't know. This is another answered prayer, I guess. So I have never had help at night up until like pretty recently with Belle, because Austin's job that he had worked would require him to get up at 3 a.m. And so Bellamy does not sleep through the night. Shocker. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. Austin used to, up until very recently, work a job where he was basically getting up in the middle of the night to leave for work. And I was breastfeeding exclusively. I did not feel like there was really anything he could do. He could change a diaper, but that's not what was waking our son up at night. So I just let him get full nights of sleep, and I did the night shift. But recently, especially since becoming pregnant, now that, ever since we night weaned Belle around like 15 months, maybe sooner, we've split the, we've split the load of the night shift. And Austin started putting Bellamy to bed every single night, so I didn't also have to put him to bed, because that was a whole ordeal. So for the most part, I would say like 50-50. Austin goes in there if he wakes up and he helps him, and I stay in here. So the plan right now is that when I have this baby, since Austin now has a new job where he's not getting up so early, he's still getting up early, he is totally fine with taking on the night shift, because I cannot be 2 places at once. And I'm honestly just praying really hard that by the time I have this baby that there will be a huge turnaround in Bellamy's sleep, and he will maybe start sleeping through, because I would love to still have Austin in here while I'm taking care of the newborn. It's just like comforting. But, I always ask these questions before I enter a phase of motherhood where I'm like, how am I going to do this when it's time? How am I going to do this? And then you just do it. And so I know it'll be kind of the same thing. Like when I do have 2 kids, I will just do it. I will just do what I need to do and it will get done. It also helps that we have a king bed now, so I'm not as nervous, because if he is just having a terrible night, or if Austin is away and can't help me, I can just bring him in here, and he usually just wants to be by us, so he can sleep next to me and I can have the baby in the bassinet and it won't be as big of a deal. I think I'll do a couple more questions. Baby room, I don't even have like literally nothing set up. We painted it a nice color, and that's it. So I need to set up the crib, but I know myself, I know that baby's not gonna sleep in the crib for a hot minute. So bassinet will do. I'm not like in any rush really to set up a bedroom, because I learned from my first that they don't really use it at all. And I'm gonna be following Bellamy around everywhere, and I doubt he's gonna be wanting to go into the nursery, so I just am not super concerned with it this time. How do you feel in regards to weight gain during pregnancy, and have you been working out? Weight gain, I don't really mind. There's times where it bothers me, like definitely right now I'm feeling very insecure, just because I'm at that point in the 3rd trimester where my face is puffy. At the end of the day, my hands and my feet are puffy, and I just don't feel great. But most of the time I'm totally fine with it, and I understand that it's just part of pregnancy and it's necessary. I try to speed through a couple because these are really good questions, but I really need to wake my son up from his nap, so I'm gonna speed through them. What are the pros and cons of being a stay-at-home mom? Do you like it, or do you miss working out in the public. I don't miss working out in the public at all, but I am very blessed to have like a lot of stay-at-home mom friends and mom friends. That's taken time to make them, but that has made being a stay-at-home mom so much easier. I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I absolutely love it. Is it insanely hard? Yes. But any job is, but being a stay-at-home mom, it's just kind of 24/7. I think that's the part that gets really hard. So if you have a supportive partner and a good community, that will make or break it your stay-at-home mom journey. But I would just be praying about it, because it is something that I feel spiritually led to do. So do you feel like being a second-time parent, you have had you find yourself calmer with budgeting and purchases this time around? Yes, we have literally bought like nothing. I'm gonna buy diapers and stuff for breastfeeding, and that's pretty much it. Because it's just like, what's the point? They don't really need much besides us. How can friends and family be most helpful after having a baby? This is a question I really want to answer for anybody who is pregnant, or if you know somebody who's about to have a baby and you want to be helpful. Here are the things, okay? Do not just text and say, when can we see the baby? No, they will let you know. Like 100%, every new parent is already thinking about visitors, already stressing about visitors. You do not need to ask unless, let's say, it's been a few weeks and you haven't reached out, and they haven't reached out. Then you could say, hey, how's it going? Are you having visitors? How are you doing? Kind of ask in that way. But putting so much pressure on meeting the baby, when really we don't need you to meet the baby. We need you to meet the needs that us having a baby is taking away from. Like, feed the mom, love the mom, shower the mom with gifts, or just like small tokens showing that you still care for her, you're still thinking of her. Things like Starbucks gift cards, DoorDash gift cards, home cooked meals, freezer meals, people coming and just cleaning my house and leaving, not asking to hold the baby, grocery drop-offs, someone coming to do my laundry, a friend asking if I wanted to get out of the house for like a walk or something, or coffee drop-offs on the porch. Like, really, truly, no one's ever, I don't think any couple or mom has been postpartum and been upset by a drop-off of food or supplies. So if you know what diapers the mom is using, drop a box of diapers off. She probably needs them. Or a pair of slippers, a comfy robe, anything like that. That is what is most helpful. Feed them, shower them with love and support, check in on them. But don't so much just only ask about the baby, and definitely don't just only ask to see the baby or hold the baby. I think that that's it. My camera battery is about to die, so I'm going to wrap up this video. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for following along this pregnancy, and hopefully I will have more pregnancy videos to come, but I have no idea what the next like month or two is going to hold. So thanks for asking these questions. I hope that I answered them in a way that was helpful. Make sure you go out of your way today to love on someone, make them feel extra special, because they are. I'll catch you guys in the next video.